Welcome to Any Advice, the channel where we dive into real-life Reddit stories and share your insights. Every episode, we explore intriguing tales and dilemmas, and we need your help to give the best advice. Hit that subscribe button, join our community, and let's get started.
Story number 1. Just realized what a pompous asshole the CEO of the company I work for is. I imagine 99% of CEOs are like this. Please tell me someone here has met a down-to-earth CEO before. I'm a manufacturing lead. I make like $50,000 a year. I'm a nobody to him. But GFK. Me and the boys are gearing up to put in some overtime as all the office people are leaving. We have to stay late to paint this fucking big giant frame we've been assembling. Because the paint fumes gas at the office workers during the day. CEO comes up to me as he's leaving and says, "You'll have this thing shipped out of here by 9 a.m. tomorrow, right?" Negative. We have to prime it first and let it dry for 12 hours before we paint it. I politely reply, "Excuses are like ashholes, everyone has one. It better be gone by 9. He says, staring coldly into my eyes. Like, dude thinks I can make paint dry fast or lemfoul. Can't wait to see his face at 9 a.m. tomorrow when he walks in and we're still painting. Story number 2. AITA for letting people know was the only one in my department not invited to coworker's wedding when they were told I couldn't attend. So a woman in my department got married. Everyone in the department 10, excluding bride, was invited except for me. I was personally told the wedding was being kept small as they didn't want to spend extravagantly. The others were told that I couldn't attend. At a department meeting following the wedding, when the bride was back from the honeymoon, everyone was talking about the wedding. A coworker commented, "It was a shame I couldn't attend." I remarked that I wasn't even invited. I could see the bride's face visibly change, and now she is mad at me and our working relationship is cordial at best. To further this, our department had a dinner and celebration for her, and I contributed to the gift. The date was selected and changed based on others' availability, but I couldn't attend due to a trip overseas I had planned last year. It wasn't even discussed if it could be changed so I could attend. The person organizing it was another coworker and her best friend. I think this other coworker, and not the bride herself, is the one behind my exclusion, for some reason, unbeknownst to me. So AITA for clarifying that I was never even invited in front of the whole department that was told that I couldn't attend. Story number 2. AITA for bringing an uninvited guest to a destination wedding. I 26F was invited to a wedding within my state. But far enough that to attend, I'd have to sleep over at a hotel for at least 2 nights. If I arrived the night before, as it was planned to be a pretty much all-day affair. I was very flattered to be invited, as I didn't think I was that close to the couple. It was a fairly small wedding, 60 guests, including the bridal party. Obviously, as it was very small, and I was possibly a second-round invitee, I didn't get a +1. Fine with me. I ultimately decided to go. When I went to book the hotel room for my stay, I found they only had large rooms available, multiple beds or king beds, etc. As it's a popular wedding destination and is a bit fancy. So, I thought, why not invite my boyfriend 26M? That way we could trade off on the long drive there and back. And share the big room I would have to pay for anyways. The idea was, that night we arrive, we could get dinner together somewhere new. And have a nice breakfast before heading back home. While I was at the wedding events, he could just hang out in the hotel room or the pool or whatever. The wedding went great, but then after it wrapped up, the maid of honor, who I'm closer to than the bride, was chatting with me as I walked back to my room, and I knocked on the door instead of digging through my bag for the keycard. When my boyfriend opened the door for me, the mo just greeted him and walked off. I didn't think it was a big deal or anything. A few days later, the mo reached out and said it was awkward and uncomfortable for me to have invited him to the hotel, and it made everyone feel bad and weird that he was there, waiting for the wedding to end when they hadn't invited him. We were both a bit surprised. No one even knew he was there because it didn't come up at all during the wedding. It definitely wasn't a secret, and honestly, we wouldn't have thought. It was a big deal if people did know. And he had only met the bride and groom, like, 6 times. And had zero issues with not being invited to such an intimate wedding. Also, if it matters, I was far from the only guest who didn't get a +1. And I never asked to be given a +1 for him. I have no clue if the Mo told the bride and if the bride also thinks this was inappropriate. If she hasn't, I really don't want to contact her during her honeymoon to start drama. I didn't check or anything beforehand, that's my bad I guess, so was inviting him really a big deal? Story number 4. AITAH for being ungrateful to my sil after she threw us our gender reveal. I 30F and an husband 30 to M have been trying for a baby for 8 years now. After 3 failed IVFs, 2 miscarriages, and many doctor's appointments later, we are finally pregnant with our rainbow baby. We are so grateful, yet cautiously optimistic. I have always been super close to my in-laws and have never had any issues with them. In fact, they have been like a second family to me. Especially my sil 35F. She has been there for us through this infertility journey more than anyone else we know, and as you can imagine, has been wanting to celebrate this time with us. She begged us to do the gender reveal, and we told her several times that we want to keep it intimate and just immediate family. We weren't ready to announce our news to anyone just yet because I suffer from anxiety and PTSD from our previous losses. Our gender reveal day came, and despite our clear requests for it to be just family, she invited some of her friends, and friends of the family and her husband's family. I was visibly upset and tried to hold it together until after the gender reveal to cry it out because I didn't want to cause a scene. I felt like I couldn't even enjoy my own gender reveal. I told my husband the way I felt, and he agreed that we should confront her about it. When we did, she took it very personally and felt we were being ungrateful and unfair. She said she had put a lot of thought into our gender reveal and just wanted us to feel celebrated after all these years. She thought the more people, the merrier. I told her we are grateful, it's just that we had only one request that she completely disregarded and that she has to understand how this could have upset us. But she insisted that we were being too much and even rude for coming at her instead of thanking her. So, AITAH for being unappreciative and upset, or is she for not respecting my boundaries? Edit to clarify, Sil has kids. She didn't post anything on socials. My family was invited and present. Husband's friend was also invited, but he was out of town and couldn't make it. I didn't announce to my friends yet, and majority of them have moved out of state for grad school or job opportunities, so that is the reason they weren't present. I have hung out with her friends and her in-laws before, and I think that's why she justified inviting them. Still didn't want them there lol. I 40M have 2 stepkids. My stepson is 14 and my stepdaughter is 12. I married their mom when they were 4 and 6 years old. Their parents, divorced, had been divorced 3 years by then. My wife's ex doesn't like me. He didn't want the divorce to stay. He tried many times to get her back. He also tried to sue for custody of my stepkids and leave the state after we got married. It's been a challenge with him. My wife and her ex have spent more time in court than I ever realized. Possible over custody disputes. Over time, with their dad's very negative attitude toward me, my stepkids started having the negative attitude toward me too. My wife, in the beginning, was good about stepping in and not making me the bad guy. Then she faltered, then she would tell me to leave it to her because it would make her ex's anger worse. If the kids were telling him I was parenting them, it was an added challenge when we had 2 kids together, who are now 6 and 4. It's messy and not healthy. So we have been in family therapy and marriage therapy. Because I don't feel like my wife does enough to help bring peace to the household. She'll make plans with one or both of her kids and then ask me to do it, but not tell them. It pisses them off. But then, she'll tell me to be careful that her ex doesn't see me with her kids other times. Or he'll be in their ears more and spewing more negativity. I make time for all for kids one-to-one, but my stepkids hate it and make their feelings about me clear. They also made it clear they want their parents back together and repeat many awful things their father says about me. Marriage therapy has been a make or break thing for the last 2 months. My wife is intervening far less than before. My biggest issue is mean comments made toward our kids together. I'm a grown man, so while not pleasant, I can handle it. But the kids, they don't deserve it, and the disrespect and hurtful comments have increased a lot in the last 4 or so months. Last Thursday, my wife had made plans, but had also agreed with some other parents to take my stepkids and their friends to their activities. I was already supposed to have my afternoon with our 2 kids. But then she wanted me to do it, since her ex wouldn't. Court order specifies they ask each other first before non-parents. My stepkids heard her ask me and protested and said some more hurtful things, and so I told my wife, no. She got mad and told me I couldn't let our kids down. My stepkids yelled, they weren't my kids. I told my wife that's the answer to that. I went with my bio kids as planned, and when we had therapy Monday, she brought it up and said I was an ass and had shown I don't care about her kids. We argued about it again yesterday, and I told her, it's not that I don't care, but I'm not willing to deal with the disrespect when even she can't respect me enough to step in anymore. She told me I had proven I couldn't be trusted to be there, that I was a bad husband and father. AITA?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. We value your input, so please leave your advice and thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next episode.